What's going on, everyone? I've got a fun one today. We are diving into set 3 Palpatine a little bit, as I had actually never done a video with the new cards from Legends of the Force, and this guy's been popping up here and there and actually taking down some planetary qualifiers and top 8ing quite a few of them. So definitely a major improvement, and that is because of a couple of different cards added to the pool. Now, there's a couple different ways you could build them. Today, we're going to go with Colossus, but I'll talk about more about that in just a moment. But first, a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you for supporting the channel, and thank you for watching the videos and chatting with me. But we got Palpatine here. Obviously, Palpatine from set 3, for those of you that don't know, is the dual aspect in terms of heroism, villainy, leader. So you get to play heroism, villainy cards. The idea is you want your units your heroism units, that is, to die, which means you want them to kind of be really obnoxious to where your opponent kind of has to deal with them, or for them just immediately trade. So we have a lot of options like Fireball that comes out in ambush, things like Queel and Yoda that restore, or Yaddle that just constantly restore and keep us in the game, Lothwolf and Village Protectors to have Sentinel bodies. Then our villainy side of things, we want to be able to play our villainy cards and then swap back to the heroism side. And so we want cheap heroism units, and as we go up the curve, more valuable villainy units that can come out and do some immediate things on the board and keep us in the game. Because one of the things that we need to compete with is people flipping over their leaders, since we don't have a leader flip of our own. Now, in Colossus's case, well, a lot of people are running the 4 space. There's really only a couple things that you'd run a 4 space for, and that would be Darth Tyrannus, Talzin's Assassin, and potentially Chirrut. Colossus is going to give us 7 extra HP, lose a card, but that's okay, usually in Palpatine, because you're going to be drawing a lot more cards with the Palpatine flip. And so I'm going to go with Colossus because of the more aggressive decks out there these days. And as such, well, hopefully that's going to give us a little game, because our late game is actually quite excellent. We have all of the ambushers and sentinels and restores in the early game, but with set 5 we also get the new Anakin, the one that comes down, gives -3/-3 to 2 things, because we have a bunch of villainy and heroism cards in our discard pile. We got the new Darth Vader plus Xian Flurry, so we're able to ambush out Force units. Now, Darth Vader's not the only Force unit we can ambush out. We can ambush out Anakin, Luke, or even our Snokes as an option, which is really, really excellent. We have a new Qui-Gon Jinn, which is just by nature an ambusher, oftentimes dies when he comes in, and we can trigger Palpatine. And then in our late game, we do have Super Laser Blast to kind of reconcile the board, or even Avenger to close out games. Hopefully, this combination of cards, we're going to be able to get there. It's a lot of fun flipping Palpatine back and forth, creating clone troopers and drawing a bunch of extra cards, and then slowly whittling away your opponent with the flips back and forth. And then, of course, not really caring about your units dying. Let's see what we can do with Palpatine from set 3. Alrighty, we get to start off with a pretty difficult one, to be honest, and that is going to be Talzin Red. We're going to resource this Fireball and the Avenger. Lots of heroism cards. We get to start off with a Queel, and I am totally happy with that. We'll go ahead and claim initiative, and we will see what we want to do here. Xian Flurry, I can even ambush out this Yaddle, which does actually kind of sound interesting to me. I think what I want to do is just drop in. I mean, they could force throw to try to kill Queel, but I don't think they care about that. I'm just going to go Village Protectors to keep our base healthy. I'm going to probably play Village Protectors regardless, and this just gives us the most options, right? They've got Grand Inquisitor. All right, let's go ahead and hit that Secretive Sage. We happen to draw a Darth Vader. And again, I'm just doing this because, well, we want our units to most likely die anyways. Great. They're going to go ahead and finish off the Queel. But that's okay. We are going to draw a card. Oh, wait. That was silly. For some reason, I thought the Secretive Sage had actually hit us. And here I am just trolling for the fun of the game, I suppose. So ignore me there. Just, don't even bother with that. That's, perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and just hit the Grand Inquisitor. Oh my gosh, I should have just drawn a card and gotten a 2 HP heal from that. Not that it's like too crazy of a situation for us. Like, realistically, what probably should have happened there. And I could have played the Village Protectors before flipping Sidious, but I was kind of worried about some potential shenanigans over there. I was just kind of trying to get to the next turn. But as I was saying, I should have totally just gone ahead and waited for them to take an action. All right, let's see what we've got here as a follow-up. They got Force Throw. Sure, we can discard. I mean, we have the Village Protectors. We'll just discard probably the Power of the Dark Side. Knock out the Clone Trooper. I'm not really worried about my opponents kind of going crazy here. We just need to make it to the Super Laser Blast here. We've got a Forlom, which we will go ahead and resource. We're just going to go Village Protectors, and now they're kind of forced to kill off the Village Protectors. So they got Talon's Assassin. Great. We'll just go ahead and draw a card. And then, well, we can use Xian Flurry plus Darth Vader, which is going to look pretty nice here. We're going to be able to knock out the Talon's Assassin plus Mother Talzin herself. And I mean, that's going to be a pretty good pickup here. We've got Yaddle as the resource here. Xian Flurry, Vader. We're going to give a shield token to the Talzin, ambush, hit the Talzin's Assassin, and we can delete the Mother Talzin itself. We can even prevent the damage, but it's not like it really matters. We now have the ability to flip over Darth Sidious, which we will do. And then we can knock out the Night Sister Warrior and then flip back and do some healing here. They got Armed to the Teeth. What a fun one here. Wow, that is not one that you really see all the time with Talzin decks. But hey, you know what? Sometimes that is what happens. Forlom looks pretty mediocre here. I'm going to be killing off this Night Sister Warrior, and then we'll just flip, and we'll see what my opponent's got. Yep, let's go ahead and heal up. We've got Fell the Dragon and Power of the Dark Side. So that seems pretty good. Do I want to Fell the Dragon plus... I think I just want a Super Laser Blast here. And then we'll just claim initiative. Yeah, Tyrannus, we'll just claim. Ooh. I can go Luke here. But I could also Xian Flurry out Luke the next turn. So I think I'm going to go with that instead. Another Tyrannus. Wow, that's triple Tyrannus here. We're going to create a Clone Trooper token. And I think we're actually going to grind it out here and actually win the game. Because we're going to be able to put up the Village Protectors, which is going to look pretty nice here. Armed to the Teeth Part 2. Wow, I made so many mistakes this game as well. I know. So everyone just yell at me right now, but... Let's see what they've got. They've got Anakin, huh? All right, that's totally fine, actually, because what we can do is... I think what we'll do is Xian Flurry out Anakin. And then ambush. And that's just going to give us Restore 3, which is going to look pretty nice here. And then we can go ahead and finish off the Anakin Skywalker. And then flip Palpatine to get another 2 HP heal and draw an additional card and set up for Avenger on the next turn. So all of this is looking pretty good. Man, the Colossus really saved us here. Fallen Lightsaber. All right, we'll just claim initiative and I mean, knock out the Anakin. That's not really that big of a deal here. I think I'll just drop the Avenger. We'll pay full cost to kill off the Anakin here. And they're going to concede. So definitely a couple mistakes there. The first one was obviously just not passing for the Queel. I don't know why in my brain I thought that we could just draw a card. For some reason I was like, oh yeah, my Queel's dead. And then boom. The other thing is I could have just played out the Village Protectors before flipping, because obviously that makes it so that I could not play the Village Protectors when flipping. I was a little bit worried of the sequencing of things depending on what they could have. I didn't talk through all of it, but obviously things like Talzin's Assassin and all that stuff can be completely brutal. But I don't remember exactly that turn sequence. It was too fast. I was playing too fast, guys. We got to slow it down here with Palpatine a little bit. On to the next one. Alrighty, into the next game. We got ourselves a pretty interesting one. Looks like my opponent is on the Snoke Troopers deck that I had built a little bit ago. What do I want to resource here? Is it the Luke? Honestly, I think so. I'm going to go with the Queel on turn 1 to start drawing some cards, and then hopefully that's going to be able to knock out whatever unit they play. There's a chance that it won't. Daring Raider base, huh? That is probably the least scary play that I could possibly have hoped for, to be honest. Let's just attack with Queel, see if we can draw a card. Great, we got a Village Protectors. I think I'm just going to drop in the Yoda. A Restorer here and a 2/4 is going to look pretty nice. Tie Dagger Vanguard. All right, this it doesn't look like the Troopers deck that I had created the other day, so can scratch that one off the docket here. Let's get rid of Super Laser Blast. I mean, my setup right now is amazing. I'm just going to be healing so much, and then I'll be able to put up Village Protectors as a Sentinel in the ground, and then I even have the Anakin Skywalker if I'm able to get both the Villainy and Heroism card in the discard pile, which I can get the Villainy card guaranteed with Power of the Dark Side next turn if I want it, and then I can curve into Anakin, and then hopefully one of my Heroism units does die. But my opponent's just not going to get much damage done. I mean, their turn 1 play was Daring Raid. Their turn 2 was a 2/2 space unit that does absolutely nothing. So that is obviously fantastic for us. We get to draw a card. Great. And I even get to flip Palpatine to draw another card. Now, I'm doing this because I kind of want to play Forlom this turn instead of Village Protectors and just, get some extra pressure. But it looks like they're going to go with an experience token. So I actually changed my mind. We're just going to go with Power of the Dark Side and then be able to get the value here, prevent any damage whatsoever, and then get in damage of our own. I was thinking about putting on Forlom, but honestly, I mean, I think we're winning this game so ridiculously hard. It is not even close. So now we can go Power of the Dark Side again or Forlom, and then be able to flip Sidious back to create a Clone Trooper token, and we are going to be in a fantastic position. We got so many options. Actually, I probably should have kept the Lothwolf instead of the Village Protectors, just in case I do go Power of the Dark Side, so I can play the Lothwolf as well. Well, never mind. This is totally fine, because what I will do is attack the Praetorian Guard. We'll see what we draw. It's a Yaddle, and I'm probably just going to Forlom away this Praetorian Guard here. So this ended up working out. Yep, Forlom, trigger. Now we'll be able to flip back. And then we will be able to play out that Anakin when it comes down. I mean, we have so many cards in hand. This is what I meant with like Colossus. It's like Colossus doesn't even do anything. Like the downside doesn't really have any effect here. But we'll see what my opponent's going to do with the Snoke here. I think what we'll start off with is just a Queel attack. See if I can draw a card. It's a Xian Flurry. Darn, would have really hoped to have that in my hand. Power of the Dark Side, Anakin Skywalker. I mean, Anakin Skywalker is just going to be so good here. We'll see what they decide to do. All right, let's go Anakin, and I will shrink the Snoke. And then we'll see what my opponent decides to do. I'd be happy to go ahead and sacrifice my Clone Trooper and Forlom into the Snoke. Honestly, if my opponent has something to... Okay, they're going to pump up the Snoke. That is totally fine. I think in this case, then... they're going to attack, and they're going to have to give the experience token to Phasma. So we'll just, knock out Snoke here with the Forlom and the Clone Trooper attacks. So they're going to attack. We'll knock out the Snoke. And then we have Fellow Dragon and Power of the Dark Side here. And we will draw a card as well. Ooh, another Anakin and a Xian Flurry. I mean, this is an embarrassment of absolute riches here. We have Forlom that we can drop in. I mean, I want a Xian Flurry here, the Anakin out, but I mean, there's just so many options here. It is getting a little bit crazy. And this is kind of the value train that we're running. We just need to stack up as many resources as we possibly can because we have a value train running. And as long as I'm able to deploy my cards, the game is over. But that's the question, right? Can I deploy my cards? Oh my gosh, there's so many cards here. 5th or 8th brother coming in. Let's see who they decide to ambush. They decide to ambush the Anakin, huh? In that case, I will just go ahead and... what do I want to do here? Let's go ahead and smack away the... I guess we will hit the Phasma, because that probably encourages my opponent to attack in with the Phasma into base. Oh, they're going to attack it with a First Order Stormtrooper, huh? I mean, I'll take 1 damage. Wow. I'm very surprised that that's what they decided to go with. I mean, we'll just play the Anakin straight up and then kill off both their units. I mean, that is brutal for them. We're going to use the ability for fun because we didn't actually play any villainy units this turn. I mean, I have Bosk. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna play a Snoke, right? I mean, guys, geez, this hand is so stacked, it's crazy. My opponent's got the little first order style of deck here. They got the TIE Dagger, first order, TIE Fighter, the Captain Phasma. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, to be honest. Let's go ahead and knock on our opponent's door here with the Anakin. We'll hit the Kylo Ren. They're going to put an experience token on it. We'll just drop in the Snoke. I know my opponent can just trade, but that's actually totally fine with me. Again, we have so many cards in our hand. As long as we're able to survive to the point where we can actually deploy the cards, I mean, the game is super over. Like, super, super over. Resource the Village Protectors, I guess. This is one of my favorite styles of games to play, where it's just you load up on value and you get to I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter what I do in these turns. There's so many options in this game, but it does not matter what I play. The game is truly over. We're on 4 HP. The game is definitely over. They have gone ahead and put an experience token on their Kylo. Okay, we'll just kill Kylo then. That's fine. And then I'll attack into the Phasma with the Clone Trooper, and then I'll flip, and then I could play Bosk, potentially ambush, and then I could play, you know, who knows what I want to play here. Okay, they're going to, I mean, maybe I just, yeah, I'll attack because I just want to play Avenger, to be honest. Let's play Avenger, kill off the Phasma, and then we can just end the game, right? We'll have Snoke and Phasma on the board, or Avenger on the board. Ooh, and we happen to draw another Anakin. Oh my gosh, Anakin's so good. Now we have a second Avenger in hand. We have the Xian plus Darth Vader. I mean, the game is purely over. My opponent is battling it out, but we literally just have lethal on the board, and that is going to be GG. All right, on to the next. Into our next matchup, we've got ourselves a Sabine Yellow here. This one might be a little tricky. This one's going to be more space focused, which means a lot of our ground sentinels are not going to do a whole lot. So we have two options here. We can hopefully get a hand with some, you know, good restorers early on, or one with a little bit of removal. This one does have the Xian Flurry Darth Vader, but the rest of the hand looks kind of mediocre. I think I can mulligan this for a better option for us. This is also pretty weak. I'm not a huge fan. But I mean, sometimes you just miss your turn one play. The other hand was much better. Anakin, fortunately, is pretty good, so maybe that'll go the distance. I'm hoping they don't have a space unit on turn one, but I mean, it's Sabine Yellow. They're gonna have a space unit on turn one. This looks like it's gonna be a little tough for us. Just a little tough for us. Oh, they have Chopper. Okay, that's an immediate claim initiative for me. That is awesome. Now they do have BD1, which Xian Flurry. I mean, it's probably just Xian Flurry as the resource. They do have BD1, which gives them Saboteur to bypass the Village Protectors, so that's going to be pretty good. I resourced the Xian Flurry because there's a good chance that it's not going to be played for a while, and I'd rather have the Power of the Dark Side and Boss, because next turn, if I'm able to flip, I could play Power of the Dark Side, but there's a good chance I won't be able to. Oh, wow. Wing Leader on Chopper is actually pretty nasty. Yep, they're going to do some damage to us. We'll see what they want to do with this BD1. If they decide to attack, they don't bother. Those were some horrible draws, and this is the danger of the deck for sure. Definitely a dangerous proposition here. My opponent here, I mean, we're going to attack the BD1, and then we're going to be able to play Power of the Dark Side, and then flip, and then heal, and then hopefully get back into the game, but it's going to be very tough. It's going to be very tough to actually reach that point, especially with how much damage they're pumping in here. I mean, we're going to pass, and then we're going to keep passing. BD1 doing absolutely work here with no turn one play or anything like that. The Trench Run. Wow, trench run on wing leader is like extremely risky. That's crazy, by the way. So we have no play to make, like literally zero play to make. So it does not harm us to pass here. They're gonna use the Sabine action. They'll deploy. We'll pass, and then I mean we're just waiting for village protectors to die. Really. All right, we get to flip, and we get to go power the dark side here. Not that this is like extremely exciting, but it is at least something that we can play. I imagine that they just get rid of the BD1. Doesn't really make much sense to do anything else. We'll pass. Forlom and Boss. I mean, both are solid. We do have a Heroism and Villainy card in our discard pile, which means we probably do want to flip back and, you know, go with the Anakin. They do have a Spectre unit on board, which does give Chopper Raid 1, which is kind of nasty. Surprise strike in. All right, we're going to go with Boss, trigger, ambush, hit the Fleet Lieutenant. And that's not too bad for us. I will flip. I will use up my resource to flip here unless they have a surprise strike. If they have a second surprise strike to use their resources, then I won't. But if they just attack with Sabine, I will flip, banking that they'll have another play to make. They're trading here. Wow. Okay, let's go ahead and claim initiative. I mean, that is awesome for us, to be honest. I am very happy with that. I think they thought that they're just going to be under too much pressure here with Bosk being on the board and us playing a bunch of events, but realistically, we don't really have a ton of events. And now we can knock out both units. Chopper on the board. We can knock out with a clone trooper here. Not going to be able to flip Palpatine back, but that means that we have Luke Skywalker next turn to go ahead and knock out another unit. Looks like they didn't resource anything, which does make a reasonable amount of sense. All right. I mean, we get to hit Chopper for 2, and that means that we can flip Palpatine. So actually, I think I prefer this over what just happened. I do think that this actually works out pretty nicely, especially since we do have, and I can resource the 4. Actually, no, I could probably resource the Snoke and then just play Forlom. And then we could play out the Yoda afterwards, which looks pretty nice as well. Or Village Protectors. Surprise strike, huh? All right, let's flip over, and then we'll see what they have as a follow-up. Let's go with Yoda. I think they're going to bank. Oh, they have Millennium Falcon. Wow, what an incredible finishing. They have Surprise Strike plus Millennium Falcon. Oh my gosh. Can we get out of this? What is our answer here? I don't think we have one, and that is going to be GG. We needed an Anakin. We needed a Super Laser Blast. We needed something to go ahead and get us there, but not quite. Wow. Millennium Falcon, double Surprise Strike, or Surprise Strike to finish it out. That was the critical game plan there. Oh, what am I talking about? We actually totally do have. Well, I mean, we don't. And we play Luke to shrink down the unit. But, I mean, there's nothing we could do. Yeah, we're dead. I think it's Sabine action. I think Sabine actioning be a little bit scary. I mean, if they have 4 cause, daring raid, yeah, the game's over. We needed something bigger. They just claim initiative here. There is nothing for 1 resources that can really save us here. Nothing for 1 resource. Waiting for my opponent to claim initiative. Otherwise, it is going to be GG. I think they're debating. Oh, they're deploying another unit. I mean, that. I think that. I mean. Can we live? I don't think so, right? Well, hold on. Oh, they have Heroic Sack. It doesn't matter. I was going to say, if they didn't draw like Heroic Sack, they deal 3 to us. We have 34. We attack in. They go down to 32. No, they just finish us off. I don't know what what could have done it for one resource. They probably should have just taken initiative. But yeah, we didn't. Was that a game where we didn't even start with the turn one play? Yeah, we didn't even start with the turn one play. And they had the BD1. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of impressive for no turn one play, but I didn't expect my opponent to be more focused on the ground arena with BD1s, Fleet Lieutenants, Sabines, Choppers. Kind of a little bit of a fun Sabine yellow to fight up against. GG. Into the next one, we got ourselves an Ahsoka green. We have a Yaddle in this hand, but honestly, I don't even know if Yaddle's going to be like that awesome. I'm not expecting my opponent to be hyper aggressive here. The rest of the hand is very, very expensive. I'm going to mulligan this one. This one's a little bit better. I'll resource the one of these powers and the Luke. So I have a turn one play, and then most likely no turn two play, because my opponent's probably not going to be killing off the Loth Wolf unless I draw a play. But oh, I mean, I guess we did draw a play. I'm just going to resource it. I actually don't even care that we drew the play. I'd rather keep Chien Flurry. If my opponent didn't play anything on turn one, they're not going to have an aggressive start. They're probably not going to have many ways to interact with my board here. We're just going to claim initiative. All right. I mean, very, very odd situation for us, but this is kind of the risk you take with Palpatine, right? Very, very villainy side of things that we're drawing. We have a lot of heroism plays, right? We've got the full early plays from Yoda to Village Protectors to Yaddles to Loth Wolves to Queels and, you know, all sorts of stuff in the early game, but Fireballs even, but we didn't draw any of that. We're going to pass. We got nothing else to do. They went with a blue leader. We're going to pass again. We got nothing else to do. I mean, there's literally nothing else for us to do. We have nothing available. Okay. They're attacking my Loth Wolf. Sure. Chien Flurry Part 2. We've got a Snoke. I mean, I guess I'll resource one of these Chien Flurries. My opponent not having the ability to kill my units or just not choosing to kill my units does end up being a little bit of a problem for us, because we can't start the kind of card generation. We're just going to go with Power of the Dark Side. We'll see if they decide to defeat the blue leader in favor of being able to have the Jedi Consular so that they can pump out something bigger, but they're not even going to do that. All right. I mean, we're just going to claim initiative. The game is a little crazy right now. Maybe I'll draw Super Laser Blast and that'll get us there. Ooh, Fireball was a great draw. Fantastic draw. That's going to be able to trigger the Palpatine and kill off their blue leader. So really love that draw. That was a fantastic draw. It's going to start drawing some cards and actually get us out of this little bit of a rut. And we do have that Chien Flurry. Remember, we haven't drawn any Vaders nor any Anakin. So if we draw Anakin next turn, we're going to be able to Chien Flurry out Anakin or a Vader next turn. It's going to be fantastic. They're going to be able to hit their Anakin. I mean, Anakin's not really that scary. We'll draw a card, though, see what we can grab. I think I'll just fell the dragon, the Anakin. And then if they deploy, oh, they're not even going to deploy. All right, cool. Cool. Kind of an awkward one because we end up drawing 2 heroism cards now. But hey, that's kind of how the game works. We'll see what they've got, but I will probably just deploy out Bosk. Luke Skywalker, huh? I mean, we're going to deploy out Bosk. They're going to go on their T6 shuttle. Let's go ahead and flip. And again, we're looking for Anakin, Darth Vader, both absolutely amazing. We'll play out a Queel here. So we get to use up all of our resources, but we're just waiting for those big hits. Force is with me. Doesn't really matter up against what we're doing as long as we... And there we go. That is what we were waiting for. And we managed to pick it up. And we even have a pretty good situation for us here, because what we could do is resource the Village Protectors. We attack with a Clone Trooper. Now we're going to take a little bit of damage here, so that is a little bit scary. But we're going to be able to get there, most likely. Let us flip here. So we're going to take 8 damage, which is kind of nasty. And then we will attack in with Queel. And the reason I'm doing this is because as of right now, Bosk is available for us. And so if they play something that's a little bit scary, hopefully not a space unit that has 8 power like a home 1, they got Ewing reinforcements. So in theory, we can use Xian Flurry to deal 2 damage to Ahsoka, kill off another unit, and kill off the T6 shuttle, which is going to be pretty good. Now, that will leave behind a Luke, but then we can finish that off with Bosk. So that's going to be pretty nice. We'll see what they grab with this Ewing reinforcement. That is a scary one. Wow, that is a lot of units. Wow, that is definitely scary. But we've got Xian Flurry here. So we're going to go Xian Flurry. We're going to go Darth Vader. We're going to deal 2 damage to Ahsoka. We're going to give a shield token to actually the Bosk and the Blue Leader. Trigger ambush, hit the Gunji, defeat the T6 shuttle. And then they're going to get that back. We will go ahead and knock out the Yaddle here, and then we're going to pass. Little bit risky here. Little bit on the scary side of things for sure. I don't like my position, but we can attack Luke and defeat the Blue Leader. And now we have an Anakin to shrink down some units. There's a Luke. Okay. I think I want to... it's a little bit risky. No, we're just going to play Anakin, shrink, and shrink. 2 resources. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy here. Okay, we can knock out the Anakin, or the Luke here. Pass. Ooh, another Xian Flurry. That is really, really nice. Oh my gosh, this is getting a little crazy, huh? We couldn't flip because we didn't deploy a villainy unit. So they have Kelleran back. I mean, Kelleran back's good, but we do have Xian Flurry Snoke. And Xian Flurry Snoke does give us the trigger from Bosk, so that's pretty exciting. We'll see what we grab here, though. Very, very nerve-wracking game here at the end of it all. Ooh, okay. So Anakin, do they have a villainy card? They do not. So now we go Xian Flurry Snoke. We'll deal 2 damage to the Anakin, and then trigger ambush on the Kelleran back. And then we're going to be able to knock out Anakin here. And then we're going to be able to hit for 2 and flip. Awesome. We still have a lot of options available to us. Snoke plus Anakin means that basically anything they play is going to be most likely killed off. And then if we do get the ability to hit something with our clone trooper, we can start healing back up. So another Kelleran back comes down. We'll see. Hopefully they don't grab like an Anakin. They've already played 2 so far. Or a Luke, I guess. Luke would be pretty bad because they can knock out our Snoke. So I wouldn't like that either. Fortunately, we can deploy Anakin, Village Protectors, and Yaddle in this turn so that we can start getting restoration. The shuttle. Interesting. So I think we'll start with a attack with the clone trooper. And the reason I'm doing this is because I can knock out both Kelleran back and the shuttle with Anakin here, and we can flip. So we're going to go Anakin. And I will defeat this Anakin. We're going to give -3, -3. We will knock out the Kelleran back here. I'll play Yaddle and Village Protectors. I will heal up 2 and then attack in. And that should seal off the game. Wow, that was a crazy couple of things that just happened. Yeah, definitely a back and forth game there. A little bit scary because we just sat on doing nothing for so many turns in a row. They rivals falled the Snoke. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We're going to be able to finish out the game here. They've got a shatter point as well. So it looks like they're just sitting on a bunch of removal, but it doesn't really matter. I could have attacked with Yaddle to give my Anakin another restore 1, but yeah, this does not matter whatsoever. We'll attack him for 2. They're going to claim initiative. We'll attack him for 2. We'll play a Vader. We'll give a shield to itself, I guess. We'll flip. We'll play the Village Protectors and Fireball. And then we'll pass. No resource on anything. Definitely got there. A little bit risky. That's something that you take a risk on when you play Palpatine, is when you have that hand where you just have nothing to play because none of your aspects match what you want to do. They got blue leader. They can go ahead and hit one of our village protectors or the fireball if they want, and then we can just go ahead and finish off the game here with an attack. So GG, very, very close game, but we got there. Into the next one, and we got ourselves a pretty reasonable hand. I'll resource this Darth Vader and the village protector. It's got a nice curve for us here, so I don't mind that. Let's see what my opponent decides to do here. I got the Queel into Village Protector's curve out, which I do like quite a bit. And my opponent having the Force base means that they're probably going to attack into the Village Protectors or be at least encouraged to do so. So having a Village Protectors on turn 2 here is going to be quite nice. Super Laser Blast. I will go ahead and resource that because it's a little bit later on in the game, and I'm hoping with this Queel I can draw a couple of cards. My opponent may have like Open Fire. We got Jedi Lightsaber. Wow, what a absolutely disgusting card for them to have. All right, they're gonna knock out the Village Protectors. We're gonna go ahead and draw a card. We've got the Forlom, which obviously does not look all that great. We didn't even get to draw a card with our Queel, so sad, so very sad. Let's go ahead and resource the Yoda here, I suppose. We'll see what my opponent has for us. They're gonna knock out the Queel, huh? I mean, we'll go ahead and trigger the ambush and knock out the shield. I'm fine with that. My opponent's got a great start for them. Absolutely incredible start. We're doing this just because we need to get rid of the shield token. I suppose I should have hit the shield token on Secretive Sage, but yeah, this is just super bad for us in terms of a start. Obi-Wan. I just realized this is the old Obi-Wan. For some reason, I was thinking this is the new Obi-Wan. Definitely not as afraid of the old Obi-Wan as the new one, typically, but we will see. Qui-Gon Jinn looks like it's going to be pretty good, but Jedi Lightsaber on turn 2 on the Secretive Sage, definitely very good up against us here in this game. We've got not the greatest selection of cards here, but I mean, we do have the ability to go Xian Flurry Yoda. Maybe that'll do something. I don't know. They're going to knock out my Clone Trooper. I mean, honestly, this is fine. If my opponent wants to keep going back and forth like this, I am okay with that. We'll just drop a Yoda in for full price. I figured we got nothing else to do. I could either Xian Flurry out Yoda. I mean, they could Shatterpoint this away. But, I mean, again, this is totally okay with me. Xian Flurry, Darth Vader, that is kind of what we're looking for. I mean, my opponent hasn't really done much so far, so hopefully this is going to get us there. Now we can just play Power of the Dark Side, actually, and then just play Qui-Gon Jinn next turn, which looks like it's going to be pretty good for us. So, I mean, I am actually totally okay with where we're at in this game. My opponent's definitely playing the more controlling game. Shatterpoint, Jedi Lightsaber, Secret Stage, knock out all your units, and we're just kind of flipping back and forth, drawing. So I think the game is in a reasonable state. Opponent's probably going to flip. Yeah. And then they're probably just going to knock out my Clone Trooper as they have been. But we'll see what they decide to do. Oh, they're just going to attack base. A little bit of a change here for sure. Wow, what a stacked hand. My gosh, that is a absolutely stacked hand. I can play Xian Flurry, Anakin to like, I don't know. But I think I have so many options here. I think I just go Qui-Gon to knock out Obi-Wan. And then I can Xian Flurry Darth Vader next turn. I mean, anything I do looks pretty fantastic here in this game. I got so many options at this point. Not that we're like completely out of the clear, but I mean, I'm planning on going Xian Flurry Vader. Concord Dawn isn't really a unit that I'm scared of. So we'll see what my opponent's got here as a follow-up. Force throw, huh? I mean, I suppose I will force throw the Luke, which is crazy. Oh. I mean, I'll bounce the Secretive Sage. That's fine with me. I feel like they should have attacked with Secretive Sage beforehand, but yeah, this is actually totally fine. Let's go ahead and flip Palpatine before we attack with a Clone Trooper. Maybe I want to keep the Clone Trooper around. Yeah, we'll just claim initiative, I suppose. I'm going to Shein Flurry out Anakin, probably, because I have the Vader as well. I mean, I could just... no, I think I want to Shein Flurry out Anakin. Because we're going to be able to go -3, trigger, kill Yoda. So we can kill off both units here. And then I'll have Shein Flurry plus Vader next turn, which looks pretty excellent. Because no matter what they play here, it's going to be pretty bad for them. And then I may even not flip Sidious so that I could have Avenger the following turn. Shein Flurry is absolutely amazing in this deck, by the way. Shatter Point on what? Anakin? Totally okay with that, by the way. Like, that is not scary at all. My opponent with their more controlling style, anything that they do, I am completely okay with here. If they're going to go kind of this game plan. I'm just going to drop an Avenger. I'm okay with just dropping Avenger and knocking out Concord Dawn. Depending on what they do, I may flip Sidious, I may not. But we have a win con, right? Just flipping Sidious back and forth or Palpatine back and forth, dealing 2 and creating clone troopers is a way to grind out your opponents for sure. So your opponent eventually kind of has to deal with that because you can't just keep killing units and not getting value. Usually it won't last until we draw out our decks anyway. So yeah, Rivals Fall's fine. I'm going to attack in for 2 and then I'm going to flip, get another clone trooper. I mean, this is kind of what I mean is like, yeah, they can sit here and remove my units, but every single time they remove my units, I'm hitting them for 4 essentially, and or 2, and then creating their clone trooper, which might even hit for like 4, 6, 8, so on and so forth. And now they can knock out a unit, but I mean, like, now I just attack it for 2, and I can fell the dragon. I can Shein Flurry Vader. All right, I think I'm just gonna go with fell the dragon then. We'll play out Queel first. Fell the dragon, flip. I guess we'll play out Yaddle as well. Fireball, Luke. I mean, we got infinite options here. I guess I'll resource the Fireball. They've got a Mace Windu. We will attack with Queel first just to see what we draw, or lack thereof. Open fire out the Queel. Sure, we're going to attack in for 2. So I can Shein Flurry out. I mean, I think I'm just going to drop a Snoke, and then we'll flip, and then we'll hit for 2. And then, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what we do here, really. This is kind of what I mean. All this 1-for-1 for my opponent that my opponent can do is just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It does not matter. And now we just wait for my opponent. We have Shein Flurry Luke, which is kind of fun. Force Throw, Rivals Fall. They are really going hard on my my units here. Like Force Throw, Open Fire, double Rivals Fall, double Shatter Point, and the Jedi Lightsaber in the early game. I think if my opponent went aggressive, they might have had a chance in the game, but they are not doing that. So we will just attack for 2, attack for another 2. And I mean, now we have lethal on board, right? Let's go with Shein Flurry Luke. We can give -3, -6, -6. Do we lose a unit? We did. We lost Snoke. So yeah, we'll just hit that, trigger ambush, hit that, and then we didn't even take any damage because Shein Flurry, and then we pass. Cool. Yeah, GG. This one, it looked pretty doomed for us at the beginning, but my opponent just only had the controlling elements, which is not what you want when you are dominating the early game like that. All right, next up we got Vader yellow. For this one, we're definitely going to want some early restorers, so Yaddle's great. The rest of the hand is bad. Forlom's not going to do anything. Shein Flurry's not going to do anything. This one's even worse, but I had to risk it because I don't think that the hand that we had previously would have won us the game. I just don't see it. Boss could be okay, but Shein Flurry, like I said, does not do anything. We need like Yaddles and Yodas in the early game with this hand because we're not going to be able to. Oh, I take it back. That is a fantastic pickup, and actually, I think Power of the Dark Side's horrible, so we're just gonna get rid of that. But yeah, Fireball in Fireball in. That's a great one. Absolutely fantastic. We'll pass because I can't really afford my opponent killing off the fireball. All right, let's go ahead and claim initiative now. And I am liking our spot now. Let's go out and knock out the first order TIE fighter. And then we're going to flip first because I may pick up something that's useful. Looks like we just got a Yaddle here, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and claim initiative. And we'll see what my opponent's got as a follow-up. Lurking TIE Phantom, huh? All right, another Fireball. I mean, Fireball is good. Man, what do I want to do here? Vader looks pretty bad. So I can Fireball. How do I win? So if Fireball, I can knock out the TIE Phantom. But then I'm not like flipping. I think Bosk is the only way I win. I have to be able to deal with a bunch of these units. And the only way I do that is if I have like a way to constantly get more value by playing a bunch of events, right? That's the only way. So we're going to go ahead and claim initiative, and then they're going to be able to create another one and then put another unit down, which is scary as all heck. But, you know, not much that we can do about it. Sanctioner Shuttle, yoink the Yaddle. Salvage. What do they salvage back? Salvage and then play the first order TIE fighter. Sure. Yeah, I mean, this game is probably over. What can we do? So we can Chien Flurry for just one to knock out something. I mean, we can Fireball and then hope to draw an event. How much damage are we taking? 3, 6. It's 1,000,000 damage. We need to get rid of this Victor leader. Had to get rid of the Victor leader. We're going to play Chien Flurry, no value to go ahead and do so. Now we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we technically live. I mean, this is a brutal one. Fireball is a great pickup, but yeah, I don't see us winning this matchup very often. This is a tough matchup. We would have to have a great hand for us to win. Like Lothwolf into Yaddle into Yoda is kind of what we need to start off. Really needed to lose a villainy card here as well. We're just going to claim initiative. I think my opponent's kind of taking this slowly when they probably could just win the game. Even like a Super Laser Blast is horrible for us because they just put Vader on TIE Phantom. And then, like, what are we going to do, right? How do we deal with that? Surprise Strike in. Great hand for them. Another Sanctioner Shuttle for Lothwolf. And we get nothing. GG. Yeah, that's pretty much how that game's going to go. Victor leader on turn 2 also just puts too much pressure on us. If we were able to not have Victor leader on there, and then maybe we get to an Anakin turn, if we drew like a Power of the Dark Side or something later on into the game, then maybe, or like more No Glory is what. No Glory is too expensive. Our villainy units are just not going to get in the discard pile because our heroism cards are not going to get in the discard pile because Vader doesn't interact with you. And that's kind of the trouble with that matchup. All right, into the next game, and we've got ourselves, I guess, a reasonable one. Yaddle into Yoda is one of the curves that we really want. Up against Piet Red, though, it's going to be a little bit scary for sure. Little bit scary. I mean, the restoring is not bad, but it's not like we're super excited about it. Felva Dragon's a card that I really want. Looks like they're playing the droid variant of Piet. I think I have to kind of ignore their units and just go for base here. Forlom, I mean Vader. I think I'll resource the Vader here. We'll see what my opponent's got as a follow-up. I will go ahead and I'll knock out their series officer. Don't mind my unit dying. Let's go with the Yoda. So now we got some restoring going on, which is nice. We'll see what my opponent decides to do here. We've got a Bosk part 2. Bosk can go into the resource pile. So we got Queel and Forlom as options potentially this turn if one of my heroism units die. They're on 5 resources, though. They can actually deploy a 7-drop this turn with Piet Flip, which would be crazy good. Invisible Hand is not something that I would like to see. Fellow Dragon, like I said, is a card that I would really like to have right now. So we'll see what we end up getting here. Let's go with an attack with Yoda first. I can always attack into HK, but I'm kind of hoping that I can attack into their Piet with my Yaddle, or something else with the Yaddle. Kind of awkward, but I think I will take out the Super Laser Technician because I would like to deploy the Forlom here. They're going to claim initiative. We'll play Forlom. We'll knock out HK, and then we'll pass. Xian Flurry, I mean, that could be good. Bosk coming down can do some work, but I mean, they can play Devastator this turn, which is kind of crazy to consider. All right, let's just go with Bosk here. No big mega units yet. And we are putting on pressure on my opponent, right? We're going to attack in for a bunch of damage, create a Clone Trooper token. I mean, Luke isn't a bad pickup. But we're going to resource one of them. No deploy from Piet, I think, makes sense because they don't really care about my units here. Let's see what they've got. Could have a big old Devastator. They got 12 damage from Planetary Bombardment. All right, we'll knock out the Clone Trooper and then just take the rest, I think. This actually works out quite nicely for us. We'll hit in for 2. And then we will flip our Palp because we will be able to play Vader. So let's go Vader, shield up the... I mean, what do they have? We'll go Forlom and the Frigate, and then hit, and then hit. I mean, this is a lot of pressure. My opponent has had no big space units to deploy. Velvet Dragon's a great draw, so I mean, maybe we'll finish it out with a win. All right, I mean, we'll attack in, defeat the frigates. I mean, does my opponent just not have a... I mean, they must have a horrible draw because they haven't played any big space units. Ruthless Raider, Devastator, Big Devastator, Invasion Control Ship, Resupply Carrier. Like, none of this has been played, and so they must have, like, a horrible hand. There's a Devastator, but that's not good enough. That is not good enough. So we will draw a card, and we will finish out the game. So GG, what a... I mean, my opponent must have had a horrible hand, to be honest, so unfortunate for them. And that was pretty sweet. Alrighty, so what did we learn with Palpatine Blue here? Well, it was a fun list. It was a very fun list. Colossus definitely came in clutch in a couple of those matchups. I do think there's a fun, consideration to go with the Force-based strategy. It's kind of nice because you get like Youngling Padawan, which is a good way to generate the Force. You still get Yaddle, and you can play things like Secretive Sage to generate the Force for you early on. And then really the big payoffs that I've seen: Chirrut, Tal's Assassin, Darth Tyrannus. Those are the 3 big ones. They're all 4 drops, which makes things a little bit awkward. But the nice thing about playing something like a Chirrut, even though it's not a heroism or villainy unit, is that it is not a heroism or villainy unit, which means you can play it at any time. Tyrannus and Tal's Assassin, both villainy, and those could be absolutely fantastic. This deck is actually really solid up against the more meta options, the ones that have a lot of more interaction, because they kind of are forced to deal with your units. Otherwise, you can hit their units. The one exception to that is the Vader Yellow, where it's all space. That one is just tough for us to deal with. The only way we can really deal with it is like if we go Bosk, and then we play like Xian Flurry, Power of the Dark Side, and start picking off their units one by one. But even then, it's not going to be very easy for us to get through that. We would need like turn 1 Fireball, kill their unit on turn 1, have it live, and then Fireball again, and just constantly keep them off their TIE Fighter generation. But I mean, this deck's got a lot of value associated with it. It's really solid at maintaining parity in the ground arena. We saw that in a lot of games. It's really when it comes to those Force or the space-based decks that really make it tricky. Or in some cases, when your opponent can just avoid interacting with units entirely, that can definitely put a damper on things. But overall, very strong. New Anakin's awesome. Xian Flurry with all the Force units is really sweet to do as well. And the deck is just, well, fun to play. Definitely give it a try. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all for the next one.